Hello, everyone. I'm Christy Burcham, the Vice President of Education and Training for BERNINA of America, and welcome to our virtual roadshow. We are so excited that you've taken the time to join us today, and we'll be going through all of the new products that BERNINA has launched in 2026. You may have heard your dealers talk about BERNINA University, where we introduce all the new products to our dealers, and they've come home very excited about those products. And now it's our opportunity to take all the products we launched there and share them with you. So we're going to have a good time today, and we've got quite a few different things to cover. So the first thing I'm going to do is show you a video about the first product that we're going to talk about, our new L6 sergers.
I've been so excited to work together with BERNINA, and on the other hand, to get to know other SEOs from the community.
Oh, beautiful. I think the Serger L660 is really innovative and user-friendly. I love when a machine is like ready to use straight out of the box. This machine makes it so easy, and I really love that.
With the cover stitch L620, you achieve the next sewing level. You can sew the perfect cover stitch, most perfect, beginner-friendly overlocking machine that you could get, and is so easy to use.
Sergers do not have to be difficult. It's not necessary. Very capable, not intimidating.
Perfect for getting started, but also will serve you for a long, long time. Sewing connects the generations, because this is kind of a heritage that is passed down. Like I got it passed on from my grandma and my dad. Sewing is something you can create everything with it, and at the end, most of the time, you have a perfect dress.
I chose to venture into sewing because I like to be able to express myself.
I can't wait to be at home and discover my L620. For my family and for myself, I do all the basic pieces. I learned a lot. It's a wonderful time.
Awesome. We love getting to hear about the experiences of our people who actually get to use the machines, of the end user for these machines. So it's really fun to hear what they thought about them. So let me show you a few things on these sergers. There's actually two of them. So the first one we're going to look at is the L660. This is a beautiful machine. The first thing you're going to notice about it is how cute it is. We've been calling it the marshmallow around here because it's got these beautiful curved edges, and it definitely looks good enough to eat. So this is the L660. It's an overlocker. You might wonder what the difference is between an overlocker and a serger, and really for the most part, those terms are interchangeable, but this machine is for doing the edges. So you can do finished edges like rolled hems, like the edges of your interiors of your garments, to do just neatening of the edges, but there's also so much more you can do with a serger like this. So let's take a look at some of the features that you're going to see on this. The first thing, most people are actually a little afraid of sergers because they're hard to thread, but not this one. So what we're going to do is, this is actually an air threading serger. You can see how simple and clean it is on the inside. And I've got one thread that I need to thread. And what's awesome is we can thread this in any order. So I was able to clip just the one thread that I wanted to change. And now I'm going to thread that thread. So what we'll do is start out by threading into the first tension. And then in order to use the air threading, and yes, this is an air threading serger, we're going to turn this knob. And when we turn the knob, we're going to know that we are ready to thread when we see the little light come on. So now we know we're ready to thread. And then all we need to do is hold this thread over this nozzle, and then we use our foot control, and I have my foot control here at the side. We're going to use our foot control, and it automatically threads. And you can see that that thread is automatically threaded. So it's the easiest thing to thread. I love this machine. Then we just turn that knob back, and we are ready to sew. And this little piece is the cutoff spin. So the pieces that come off go right in this little bin, and it is also the looper cover all in one. So really simple, very, very easy to thread, very easy to use. It also has an automatic needle threader. So you can thread the needles automatically, or I should say semi-automatic, because there is a little bit of a manual step there, but it does make it much easier to thread the needles. And again, because you can thread in any order, you can change these threads anytime you like. Now we do have individual adjustments for each thread. So that's going to allow you to create different types of stitches. So for example, we have some different types of stitches on this pillow here. These are like what we call a roll hem, which you can also use to create these beautiful pin tucks. And these are a flat lock that you can also do on an overlocker, just by changing some of the settings on the serger. It's very, very simple to do, and it comes with a simple card to tell you what settings you need to adjust to get to the different stitches. A few other things you'll notice about this machine is there's a lot of space right here. So a lot of room for your projects, and you can even get your arm in there if you want to. We also have a swing out presser foot that makes it very easy for threading. Very large dials that makes it easy to make the changes to things like your stitch length, your differential feed, and your cutting width here. We also have what's called micro thread control, and this is an innovation that Bernina came up with a number of years ago that allows us to fine tune our stitch very finely. So a lot of amazing features on this serger. We even have presser foot pressure on this serger, so really easy to use. A couple of new innovations, we have the ability to turn off the light. So you can see here, even when we have a camera on, sometimes having the light off makes it a little easier to see things. Or if you're working with a clear fabric or something reflective, you can turn it off, or you can actually dim it by holding it and it will dim. So you've got lots of options there with your light. And then we have a slide speed control here. So we can control the speed of the serger right here really simply with the slide speed control. Now, one other thing that's totally new, most of the innovations you've seen here so far have existed in a Bernina serger before, just not in this price range. But something that's totally new is what we call feed dog drop. What will happen is when I use the freehand system, the feed dogs actually drop. So that's a completely new feature. I'll do it again so you can see when I use the freehand system, those feed dogs go down. And what that does is allows you to get your bulkier projects in there. And I know when I've worked with a serger, there have been many times I'm like, oh, I just wish it were a little easier to slide that fabric under there. It's very easy with the feed dog drop. So a lot of amazing features on the 660. Now there are two machines in the line. So let's pop over to the 620 and let me show you that one. So here we have the 620. The difference between the 620 and the 660 is the 620 is a cover and chain stitch machine. So a little bit different in terms of the types of stitches that it does. Instead of overcasting over the edge, what this does is it's going to create that cover stitch that you may have seen in your projects, garments, or even things you see in ready to wear. So here is an example where you have straight stitches on the top, and then on the bottom, you have this overlock looking stitch. So this allows you to have stretch in your stitch. It's perfect for hemming t-shirts and decorative applications like that, but you can do it with 1, 2, or 3 threads. So if you do it with a single thread, it's just like having a straight stitch, but you're doing it on a serger. And then if you want 2 or 3 threads, that allows you to be able to do practical applications like hemming, but also decorative applications because you can use this other side. And because it's a serger and we're working with a looper, you can have a decorative thread here. So again, like on our pillow here, we can use a cover stitch, and that's actually how this top stitching is done. It's a cover stitch with 2 threads, 1 thread on either side of this seam here, or you can use it decoratively like you see here. So here we've got the other side of the cover stitch flipped over, so you see the decorative side. So all of those same features that you saw in the 660 are also in the 620, and things like your feed dog drop, your air threading, very simple and easy to use. You can also see you have this large extension table, so you have a lot of room to work on your projects. In fact, you can even quilt with this machine, and having all of that extra space to quilt with that serger straight stitch or the chain stitch, depending on how you like to call it, makes it very easy to stitch. So we know you're going to love the L620 and the L660. If you are looking for a first-time overlocker, the 660 might be for you. If you are somebody who wants to do more chain stitching, cover stitching, decorative applications, you might want a 620. Maybe you're somebody who already has a 660 at home or already has a serger at home, even an L890 serger, and you want to be able to switch to cover stitching without having to change your machine. You could have a 620 that would be a standalone cover stitch and chain. So lots of options with the L6 series sergers, really beautiful machines and useful machines. So we hope that you'll check these machines out. As always, with any of our products, the best way to learn about them is to visit your local dealer, get a demonstration. So we highly encourage you to do that. So that is our L6 sergers, and now we are ready to talk about our next new product, which is the 790 Ultra. So I'm going to start with a video here to show you the 790 Ultra, and then I'll be back to give you a little demo.
Ultra precise, ultra creative, ultra innovative. This is the new BERNINA 790 Ultra.
The BERNINA 790 Ultra inspires me to go for new adventures. With all the features, you have to explore that all. My name is Brigitte Heitland. I am a fabric and pattern designer. Quilters all over the world are using my fabrics and patterns, and that's what drives me daily. I learned sewing from my grandmother, and this is when my passion started. And I'm now very eager to explore the new 790 Ultra. The crop function, just think of an on-point quilt. You have a motif inside the squares, and now you come to the edges where you have only triangles left. Now you can crop a square into a triangle and have the same motif in the complete quilt. Isn't that great? The function start and stop shows me the start and end point of a motif. Now, when I connect motifs with one click, they will combine into one single motif, which will embroidered in one turn only. Wiebke was once a volunteer in my company, so we had the same wavelength. So we stayed friends over time, and we share the same passion for sewing. What I really use often is the 3-point placement, because it goes apart from the 4-point or square setting to any possible shape. The laser, just brilliant. I don't have to test with the hand wheel back and forth where my needle will end. The laser shows me. With the shape designer, I can arrange my designs in any shape, and it's fabulous that the machine can read nearly all file formats on the market. To be able to monitor the embroidery process on the phone allows me to not meditate 30 minutes in front of my needle. And then when that little notification pops up, ready, continue with the work. To have the help center and consultant with the machine itself is such a game changer. Now you just go to the machine or your tablet and find all the answers. I love the integrated stitch regulator on the B790 Ultra. It makes it so much easier to enhance my quilt top with beautiful motifs. Nice. The jumbo stitch allows us to widen your decorative stitches up to 500%. It turns out beautifully. There are so many wonderful features with the BERNINA 790 Ultra that I can't sum them up in only one sentence.
Bernina, made to create.
And welcome back. Here she is, the BERNINA 790 Ultra. So the 790 Ultra is the newest BERNINA 7 series. It's still a 7 series though, so it's got a lot of the innovations that have come to the BERNINA 7 series over the years. So it's 10 inches to the right of the needle, lots of space there. We also have a fully automatic needle threader. We have the pinpoint laser. We have the ability to use computerized quilting files. So a lot of innovations that have come to the BERNINA 790 Ultra, and especially don't forget the jumbo bobbin. Oh, my mic has flipped around. Okay, so back to talking about the BERNINA 7 series. Thank you guys for letting me know my mic had flipped over. 10 inches to the right of the needle, jumbo bobbin, automatic needle threader. A lot of those features that we have really come to love in the BERNINA 7 series is now in the BERNINA 790 Ultra. So let's take a look at what's new on the 790 Ultra. First of all, we have something called the BERNINA Integrated Stitch Regulator. So we can choose that from the home menu, the BERNINA Integrated Stitch Regulator. What that allows us to do is to get perfectly even stitches using free motion, but it's different from the existing BSR or stitch regulator in that it's built in to the machine. So it actually works with any free motion presser foot that allows you to work with things such as ruler work or couching with free motion quilting, and you get those perfectly even stitches every time. So really exciting. Now let's look at some of the sewing features. If we go over to sewing, what we're going to see we have new is undo and redo in sewing. So if I make a change and I change my mind, I can just tap undo and it will go back to my previous change. I don't have to remember what I had changed. So that's new and special. Another thing that's new, if we select a decorative stitch here, let's pick a decorative stitch. We have something new called jumbo stitch. So if I go to my information menu and then from here I choose the jumbo stitch functionality, what this is actually going to allow you to do is to increase the size, not just within the 9mm distance here, but even bigger than the presser foot, up to 500% of its original size. So you really get some creative options, as you saw in the video, to create really large designs using the jumbo stitch. But what's great about jumbo stitch is it also works in the opposite direction. We can reduce the size. So I can actually go down all the way to create smaller stitches, and that's going to recalculate the stitches so that you have even stitches. You don't have little tiny stitches or super long stitches. It's the motif that changes size. So really exciting. Now let's pop over to embroidery and let me show you a few features in embroidery. We'll drop the feed dogs and you can see we have our embroidery files here. Most of the new features in embroidery are with quilting files. So let me show you an example here. We're going to go to our quilting files. These are our computerized quilting files. For those of you who have a pro machine, you may recognize this BQM format. That's BERNINA's quilting file format. But the BERNINA 790 Ultra will read other quilting file formats as well. Any long arm file format it will read. So let's take a look at this little design. What we will do is we will rotate this design, and let me select the MIDI hoop here. And now we're going to duplicate that design. So we have 3 designs there. Now you may be able to see, you can see that I have the start and stop point showing. There's a little red point and little green point showing the start and stop points of the design. And being able to see that, that's a new function, but I can see there's a little gap between these. So it's really simple to change that in our new quilting features. We have a match start stop function. So now you can see those are perfectly lined up. They go right from one to another. But you can still see there are start and stop points. So when we go to stitch this out, it will pause at each of these sections. We now have a new function called connect. And with connect, it automatically makes it one continuous design. And this will work even if those designs are separated. So really exciting to really make your quilting more efficient. All right, let's go back and delete this and look at another design. I am going to go to some designs that I have saved. And I have this square motif that I have saved here, and it is a quilting design as well. And what I want to do with this is I want to actually do something called crop, because I only want to use part of this design. So if we go to the quilting menu, we have the crop function. And the machine's going to ask me to attach the hoop. So let me do that. Okay. We'll attach the hoop. And now what you can see is there's a shaded area here. So if I select this green check mark, whatever's in the shaded area is deleted. And now I have just part of the design to work with. Fortunately, I can undo that and work back to my design. There's a lot of ways you can use this crop. So you can use the crop when you're doing like an edge to edge. You can actually crop to the hoop if you're wanting to fill your entire hoop. But let me show you another way you can use it. You can actually rotate this line. So I'm going to take this square and turn it into a triangle. So now in the same block where I might have square motifs and triangle motifs, I can have the same design. And it will automatically connect the open areas to create a beautiful continuous quilted design. So now I'm going to leave this menu, and you can see we have this continuous quilted triangle design. Now, the 7 Pro Series machines have had what we call 4-point placement, which allows us to perfectly place any 4-sided shape. New in the 790 Ultra, we have 3-point placement. So what you can see here, we have this triangle. It automatically gives us the 3 points. And what we can do here is select a point, and then I will use my multifunction knobs to move the laser to the points on my triangle. So I have a little triangle in my hoop. And I just move those points. And you can see that as I move the points to match my triangle, the design morphs. And so it will be shaped to perfectly fit my triangle. So there's 2 points, and we'll do one more point. I have to get in front of it. There we go. Last point. And you can see that triangle taking shape, and it's going to perfectly fit my triangle. Last point. And now I have a triangle that perfectly fits my shape. I can even add a margin if I want to have it come in 1/8 of an inch or 1/4 of an inch from the edge, and I've got that perfect placement. So a lot of exciting things about the Bernina 790 Ultra. We've shown you kind of the main features, and we really enjoyed showing you the 790 Ultra, and hope you'll go to your local dealer and check it out. So next, what we want to do is show you the next product in our line, which is the burnettes. So we have some new burnettes for you. We're going to queue up a video for you, and then we'll bring the burnettes out and show them to you.
Smart, compact, versatile. The Burnett 59 is the easy entry into embroidery, with an app for designs you create yourself. Create and edit stitches and embroidery designs wherever you are with the Stitch Direct app. Send your final designs directly to your B59 and keep full control throughout the embroidery process. Turn your ideas into unique pieces fast and with precision, so they make the biggest possible impact. With the included multi-position hoop, you can bring larger embroidery ideas to life. Reposition, click, and continue embroidering. The Burnett 57 is compact yet powerful. It is threaded in seconds, comes with a large slide-on table, and offers intuitive control via a modern color touchscreen. Features like the click and lift stitch plate and the automatic thread cutter support you while sewing. Every stitch turns out exactly the way you want it, thanks to the slide speed control. With 515 stitches, the B57 offers plenty of options to explore new ideas. Designed to create, made to be loved.
Hi, I'm Sylvain with Bernina, but usually I call myself Captain Burnett. I have a big attachment to Burnett, the whole line, because when I was a grad student, I wish we'd have machines as good as the Burnetts we have today. And we have new ones today. So let me give you a brief tour of what they are capable of. The new line is called the Burnett 50 series. So we have two models, 57 and 59. The 57 over here is going to be a sewing only machine. So it's optimized for that. Let me give you a quick tour. First, we have a very crisp, very bright touchscreen right in the middle here. And the interface has been guided and informed by Bernina. So we brought a lot of Bernina technology in here. For instance, you can even select the presser foot and tell the machine what foot you put on. So if you have a foot with restrictions like a straight stitch foot, the machine will not break needles by trying to zigzag. So that's technology brought over courtesy of Bernina, but Burnett is now benefiting from it. So next to the screen, you have all the controls that you need, very easy. You have a slide speed control so that you can sew slow or fast. It also works with the bobbin winder so that for threads that benefit from slower speed, you can wind at slower. There are thread cutters everywhere for your convenience when you wind a bobbin, when you thread the machine. And talking of, when you thread this machine, when you pass the thread at the very end here by the needle, and you just line it up, and then on the left side here, you bring the lever down and it will thread your machine for you. So the sewing prep has been greatly optimized to make it super easy for you. All the good features you need are there. You have press foot pressure, that's important, especially on knits. And then you saw in the video that the stitch plate, which this machine comes from, if you need to remove it to clean and all that, there is a button on the front, you just push and the plate will pop itself out, and then you just snap it back on. No tools required, no screwdriver. So that, again, is a big efficiency factor. You have your usual buttons here, including an automatic thread cutter. If you've never had a thread cutter before, you will never look back. So this, as a sewing machine, has over 500 stitch patterns. It has all the technology you need, the needle positions, and so on, so that you can do your best sewing. And it is actually a full package, including the extension table, which is very firm and has all your seam allowances marked for you. So very, very good sewing machine. Now, from here, let's move to the B59, the bigger sister. So the B59 is the same build mechanically as the B57. So everything I just described is there, but it adds embroidery. And just to show you, the embroidery will include 2 hoops, a medium hoop, which is just shy of 5 inches wide by 7 inches tall, and this multi-position hoop, it has 3 positions, that is just shy of 5 inches wide by 11 full inches tall. So if you do borders and stuff like that, you have now a big space to work with that machine, and it is included with the machine. The module will go up to 800 stitches a minute, so it has a good cruising speed. All the other conveniences, the thread cutters, the needle threader, it's all the same, so you can spend your time embroidering. But the big difference here is that the machine comes with an app. The app is free because this machine has Wi-Fi built in. So you can use your mobile device to either do sewing or embroidery with it. And then if you want to use, you can use your phone or your tablet. So when you use your tablet, for instance, if you have one, that is a huge improvement on the interface just because you have more space. And at this point, I could do sewing directly on the machine, but I can use the mobile device. And by the way, the app is available for both iOS or Android. It scales to phone versus tablet. So yeah, it's very easy to obtain the app. It is free. It's called Stitch Direct. And then you can select stitches, modify them. All your functions are here. And then you just send it over to the machine. And by Wi-Fi, it takes a second or two, and you'll be able to do this. You can create combinations of stitches if you want, and then send them to the machine. So if you find it easier to work with the screen in your hand, now you can do that. You don't have to be sitting at the machine. You could be downstairs, prepare your work, and send it up. That covers pretty much the sewing side, except one thing that I've left out so far is that for a mid-range machine like this, we now have a full sewing consultant. If you've never put a buttonhole in a fine fabric before, it will tell you what to do. And when you say okay, it will select the right buttonhole. And then you can just size it here to what you need, and then send it to the machine ready to sew. So for me, being able to do all of this in my hand, especially with the tablet, it's just bigger, easier to do. And then when I say go, I'm ready to sew. Now, that was for sewing. It does even more on the embroidery side. So in the embroidery side, you have over 250 designs built into the machine. They are all on the tablet, on the app itself, so you can use them there as well. And then when you go to embroidery, you can select designs. I created one here. That is the logo that we use at the convention with these machines. So lettering, the lettering was built into the app. The number 59 was, again, from the app. The little heart I had designed with embroidery software. So this machine, because of the Wi-Fi, you can team it up with either the Bernina embroidery software or the BERNINA embroidery software, either. And the software is ready to work. It knows about the machine, knows about the hoops, and it's ready to beam designs right into your machine. The machine reads all the common home embroidery formats, so that's very convenient. And then with the app in embroidery, the big thing is that you can draw your own open lines. You could draw a line of satin stitch that is, just shaping around. You could draw closed shapes like a heart, and you can have it just as an outline or as a filled object. That, until now, pretty much required embroidery software. So the app gets you up and going, even if you don't have software yet. Next, you have shapes that you can draw. And when you select your shapes, you select a stitch to go with it, and then it will populate that. Lettering is brilliant. Let's say if I'm just putting my lettering on, I can actually shop for the style that I want before I commit to it. And even if I commit to it, and let's say you made badges, and I decide, I don't want a different font style this time. If I go back to the lettering, I can still change after the fact. That is very powerful. And next, let me show you one of the most powerful features. There are frames that will populate with satin stitches, decorative stitches. So you can draw a frame around. So if you want to make a quilt label, you can do the whole thing right here. When you say go, you'll have a quilt label. And then my favorite is the monogram function. It's basically, if you put your lettering in, you pick a style of lettering, then you pick a style of frame. And let me choose a smaller style here. There you go. You choose a style of frame, and you now have a monogram. That's it. So that, again, is functionality that would have required software before. And as you are Stitching, you could leave or put your device right on the machine while you work there. There's a device holder, and it has adapters for thin or thick, and so you're good to go. So powerful technology, the latest. It has all the ease of use and really the power of the app, which is free, the Stitch Direct app, that will let you do more and focus on your project. So next we have when two long-lived brands, famous brands known for quality, team together, we have something special coming out. So Liberty of London and Bernina. Let's watch a little video that will show you what this is all about.
Founded in 1893 by Carl Friedrich Gigav, Bernina released its first household sewing machine in 1932. Founded in 1875 by Arthur Lazenby Liberty, Liberty laid plans for a London emporium where it began producing fabrics in the late 19th century. Two visionary heritage brands united through their creative synergy.
Liberty and Bernina is such an amazing collaboration. So it's so excited to see them together in this one amazing machine. I'm super excited about the new Bernina 580 Liberty Edition. The Bernina 580 has so many great features. One of my favorites is that it has the wide throat for the quilting. It comes with the edge stitch foot 10 and the embroidery open foot 20D. It comes with the 1/4 inch quilting foots, which is so great for lining up your quilting so you know where you're stitching.
I think Liberty fabrics are just really beautiful. They're wonderfully designed. The colors are always beautiful and the quality is always amazing. And you know, if you're going to make a dress or a garment out of Liberty fabric, it's going to work out beautifully. It's going to hang nicely and it's going to look really good. So I really like the decorative stitches on the 495 Liberty edition. And there's a great variety of them. They're 3 feet and I think they're really good additions because they really set you up so you can just get started. We've got the 1/4 inch patchwork foot 37, so that's perfect when I'm doing my 1/4 inch seams. We've got the edge stitch foot, which is great. So if you're doing some top stitching or you want to be really precise, then the edge stitch foot has a great guide. So that keeps everything lined up. So that's fab. One of my favorite is the open embroidery foot. So you can really see where the needle's going. They're just really fab additional feet. I think they're great.
I love that the new Bernina 580 comes preloaded with the Liberty embroidery designs. They're going to be such a beautiful addition to quilts. I like to use a lot of white in my quilts to get contrast with the Liberty fabric, so it's going to be lovely to go around squares with those deco stitches. What an amazing collaboration between my two favorite brands.
I think it's going to be fantastic to use and it's also going to be beautiful to look at.
Hello, I'm Julie Bridgman, Bernina educator, and today I want to introduce two Bernina special editions for 2026. Bernina collaborated with Liberty of London to bring you these two beautiful machines. Aren't they beautiful? I want to start with the Bernina 495 Velasco. Let's take a closer look at this faceplate here. There are lovely blue and green florals on the faceplate. And this machine is a 5.5 millimeter machine. It has your automatic thread cutter, and it also comes with the Bernina foot control. So with the Bernina foot control, you have that back kick feature. So with that simple press of the heel, you have your needle up, down. You can program in the machine, secure stitches and thread cutting. Beautiful, beautiful machine. This also comes with 32 exclusive Liberty decorative stitches. So built into this machine in the decorative stitches folder, you have a special Liberty of London folder with the decorative stitches. Okay, this machine comes with your standard feet, but you get extra feet as well. You get the edge stitch foot number 10. You get the open embroidery foot number 20. And you get the patchwork foot number 37. So for the Bernina 495 Filasco, you get the extra feet. You get all the Bernina precision that you get in every Bernina machine, that precise stitch quality. And you have, of course, the jumbo bobbin. So a lot of great features in this beautiful machine. Now that I've talked a little bit about this one, let's go over to the Bernina 580. This special edition comes with the embroidery module. So this embroidery module is standard with the machine, and it also includes special built-in Liberty designs. So on the embroidery side, you get exclusive Liberty of London embroidery designs. And I have stitched out one for you to see. So it has the same colors in it, and these are with the isocord thread, same colors that are in this beautiful faceplate. So this is, this is 580 Glen Lion. It is the faceplate is beautiful colors in different florals. So another very Liberty feel for this faceplate. So you get the embroidery module standard with the machine. And as far as the presser feet, you have your standard presser feet that come with the machine. You also get extra feet. You get the edge stitch foot 10D, because this is a 9mm machine. So you have your dual feed. You get your 20D open embroidery, and you get a 97D. That's your patchwork foot that comes with the optional guide in the package. So lots of feet to get you started right out of the box. This machine also has a automatic presser foot lift, and it has the 32 decorative stitches on the sewing side as well, just like the 495. So this is your 580, Bernina 580 special edition. It's the Liberty of London Glen Lion. So both machines come with these special desk covers that are matching their faceplate. So here we have the Glen Lion desk cover that matches the beautiful faceplate. And then over on this side, we have the Velasco desk cover that matches this beautiful faceplate. And you've probably noticed this quilt here, this beautiful quilt. So this quilt is the 495 quilt. And I did this for you so you could see it today. These are sawtooth stars, and you can find this pattern at bernina.com. If you go under Learn and Create in Sewing Programs and Downloads, you'll find this under Sawtooth Stars Quilt. It's the Bernina 495 Velasco quilt. And there is also one there for the 580 Glen Lion machine as well. And that one includes embroidery designs in the quilt. Okay, so these are our two beautiful special edition machines. If you have any questions about it, I will answer them at the end of the webinar. So go ahead and send in your questions. Oh, the luggage set, yes. So the luggage set. These two machines come with a beautiful matching luggage. The 495 has the trolley that you can use to go to your classes, go to retreats, really easy to travel with, and it matches that faceplate. The 580 has the same trolley, but it has the same design as that faceplate. And it includes the luggage for the embroidery module as well. And then you could see the dust covers in that picture too. So beautiful, beautiful luggage to travel with and take wherever you go to classes and retreats. So yep, love it. So really great collaboration with Bernina and Liberty of London. We're really excited about it. So now that is our beautiful special editions for 2026. I'm going to move on to the new accessory we have. We have a Bernina walking foot number 50W. I'm going to open up this box, and here is the walking foot. It has a light gray cover. So this is what's great about this. It is a 9mm walking foot. So you'll know it's a 9mm walking foot for a few reasons. Because it does come with all the same accessories. It comes with the 3 soles, the left and right seam guide, just like your 5.5mm walking foot. But there's a few differences. The 9mm has the rubber pads are 9mm apart. So these rubber pads fit directly over your 9mm feed dog. So if you have a 9mm machine, you need to get this walking foot. Because again, the rubber pads on this walking foot go directly over the feed dog when you attach this to the machine. And when that happens, when you're feeding your fabrics through the machine, and every stitch, you're feeding that consistently and evenly through the machine with every stitch. They're both working together for that even and consistent movement of the fabric layers. And the walking foot is for quilting, it's for multiple layers, and it's for challenging fabrics too. Okay. Another distinction I had already mentioned was this light gray cover. So if your walking foot is white, or if you have the special edition red, that's the 5.5mm walking foot. This one is a light gray. And also, if you have the standard sole out, or the edge stitch sole, or the center blade sole, the width of this needle opening is 9mm. So now you can do decorative stitches or lettering with that 9mm stitch width. So lots of great reasons to have a walking foot. If you have a 9mm machine, you definitely need to get this, because remember, a walking foot is not the same as dual feed, because dual feed is for 2 layers. If you're working with multiple layers, or you're quilting, doing straight line quilting, if you're working with challenging fabrics, you definitely need a walking foot. So everyone's been asking for it, and now we have the walking foot number 50W. Okay, next up, we are going to have hoops. Awesome. Thanks.
All right, welcome back. We're ready to talk about hoops. So speaking of accessories, my favorite kind of accessory is an embroidery hoop. And we actually have 3 new embroidery hoops. 2 of them are sticky hoops. So this is a sticky hoop, and I've actually already attached sticky stabilizer to it. So it only has 1 ring, rather than having a second ring that you have to clamp your stabilizer or your fabric between. You actually just stick the stabilizer directly to the back of the hoop. And then you have a sticky surface where you can float your projects. So this is perfect for napkin corners, collar points, anything that really can't be hooped. And what's nice is you can do multiple pieces in the same hoop. So if I've got 4 napkin corners, I can place them on the 4 corners of this hoop and be able to stitch it. So this is the medium size, which is going to work on the 5, 7, 8, and 9 series machines. And then there's also a large size. So let me get that. Got that back here. This is the large size, and this is going to work on the 7, 8, and 9 series. So 2 different sizes of sticky hoops. And as you can see here, without the stabilizer on it, you can see it's just a single piece. So it makes it really, really simple to use. It does come with pre-cut stabilizers. So there is a pack of pre-cut stabilizers that comes in the box that perfectly fits this. And then you can get refill packs for those to be able to fill in this. So they're already pre-cut, totally flat, totally easy to use. So those are the new sticky hoops. Now we have one more hoop. Let me grab it. And that is a big hoop. It's what all of those 990 customers have been asking for, a giant magnetic hoop. So yes, it is giant. It is the same size as the giant hoop that comes with the machine. So it's 16.1 by 12 inches, and it is magnetic, really easy to use. We introduced magnetic hoops last year, so this is the newest size. It does only work with the Bernina 990 because of its size, and it does have very strong magnets. So it's very important if you get this hoop to keep this piece, this separator piece, because you need to be careful not to pinch your fingers. The magnets are that strong, but it is perfect for doing quilting in the hoop. It's perfect for any kind of fabric that can't be hooped in a traditional way, so that it might leave marks otherwise. So love this magnetic hoop. It's something a lot of people have been asking for, and these are coming soon to your local Bernina dealer. So those are our new hoops. We do have one other accessory to talk about, and that is our new Q-matic update. So I'm going to turn it over to Lane, who's going to tell you all about our Q-matic update.
Hello, everyone. I'm Lane. I am one of the quilting specialists here at the Creative Center, and I am so excited to share with you Q-matic 4.0. It's a new update for you, and guess what? It's completely free. It's our gift to you. So I want to show you what those updates are. Randy, if you'll switch us to our PowerPoint here. First of all, we get to print the design catalog, not just the designs that came with the machine, but also the ones that you have bought and imported. This is great, especially for those of you who do this as a business and you want a physical catalog for your customers to flip through. Up in the top menu under File, where you would normally print things, it brings you to a screen that looks very much like when you're choosing a design. And if you wanted to print the entire catalog, underneath the center column, there is a print button. If you wanted to print a certain category, like pantographs, on the left side, you would choose Match All Tags and Pantographs, and in the center column, you would see only pantographs, and you would print that column. If you wanted to cherry pick designs for a customer, you would put them over in the right column, and below that column, there is a print section. When you print, it will print the design name, but you also get to choose print tags along with it, the page numbers. But I also think it's really nice that you can print the date that you printed this, so that you'll know when the catalog is out of date and you need to print a new one. We also, speaking of tags, can add and remove a lot easier than we used to be able to. So on the main workspace up in Design Library, you go down to Design Tags and then immediately go to Add or Remove Tags. This is great for someone like me who, when I import a design, I want to use it so fast that I forget to add the tags right then, so I can do it really easily later. There is also a direct link to the OESD Long Arm Design website. So on the main page, we've rearranged some of the buttons down at the bottom. We've moved those nudge arrows to the left, and we brought the Art and Stitch icon over and added the OESD icon next to it. This is a direct portal into the OESD website where you can purchase new designs. If you are looking for a new design, it is also, the OESD link is up there as well. The thing that I love about the OESD website is not only are their designs super cute, but it keeps track of what you've purchased. And many times I've put the same design in my shopping cart and it tells me I've already bought it. I don't need to buy it again. So that's great. We now have a multi-selection tool. So with a single selection tool, you are only able to grab one item at a time. But now you can drag a box around multiple items and have both of them selected. Once they're selected, you can do all of the things that you would do with a single design: rotate, flip, mirror, reverse sew. But my favorite thing to do is to delete multiple things at the same time. I can drag a box around 20 designs and with one click, delete all of them. It's fantastic. Below that, we also have the new multi-select tool. This allows me to select non-neighboring designs and have them momentarily grouped to do any of those design things. So you can see on this example, I could grab the top flower and the bottom flower without selecting the middle flower. And I could rotate them, trim them, do whatever I wanted to do to them. So that's a fantastic new tool. We can now drag a design onto our workspace. When you click a design, it automatically goes wherever the needle is. Now we can drag the design. So oftentimes you're zoomed so far into the screen that your needle is off onto the side and you don't see that the design is being added to where the needle is. And that's a great feature because you can move the sew head and bring the design over to where you're working. However, it's nice when you're zoomed in to just drag the design to where you are looking and start working at it. You can also use this drag method inside the design pool. So instead of clicking your design over to the right column, you can drag it over there. All right, now we're getting into some fun territory here. We can split a design. If you wanted to take a portion of a design and you use the trim tool, because it cuts in a straight line, you sometimes lose a piece that you wanted, or sometimes there is a piece that you don't want still attached because of that straight cut. Now with the split tool, which is located over by the trim tool, you can place a dot on anywhere on the design. And now we're going to divide that design into two designs. If you want to move the dot for more, to get a better specific spot, we have these arrows down here that move the dot in small and large increments. Once you have it placed where you want it, you select the green check, and now these are two different designs. And now they act as individual designs that you can duplicate, attach, rotate, all of the things that you would do with the original design. In that same tool, we have a segment. So this means we can divide this design into three components. So we would first choose the starting point, and then we would choose the ending point. And again, you can use those arrows to fine-tune those points. Once you hit the green check, you now have three designs that you can start copying and playing with and building new designs out of old designs. There is a trim tool improvement. If I wanted to trim a design twice, I would have to go into the tool, make the first cut, and then select the green check. I would go into the tool a second time and select the green check a second time. Now we can go in there once. So you make your first cut, and instead of selecting the green check, you select the preview button where you'll get this prompt where you can undo the cut or you can accept and trim again. You make your second cut, and you can make your third, fourth, fifth cut, however many cuts you want to make. And then when you select the green check, all of the cuts happen at once. The mask tool works exactly the same way. You make the first mask, you accept and mask again, and make however many masks you want. There is a new improvement to the marker tool. We have an undo button. So sometimes you accidentally click the button and now you have a dot there. And in the past, you would have to clear all of the dots, or you would just live with that dot and pretend that it wasn't there. Now we can undo them, and they get undone in the order that they were made. All right, we have one last feature to show you today, and it's a big one. We can do edge-to-edge auto fit. So making an edge-to-edge design previously entailed putting your design in the left corner, making one row of it, going into the multiply tool and making multiple rows. But now you can put the design anywhere. I just have it in the left corner out of habit. Down below the multiply tool is the edge-to-edge auto fit icon. Once you select that, based on the measurements of the quilt, it will auto-populate with your design. You can still squish the rows together or pull them apart. You can still offset them. You can still flip them. All of the things that you can do in the multiply tool, you can do in the auto fit tool, with the addition of trimming the edges. So there's a margin outside the quilt edge, and you can adjust that margin. With the width, you adjust it and it adds it to both sides. With the top and the bottom, it adds them individually because we can never see the bottom of the quilt till we can see the bottom of the quilt. So I like to put a big margin on the end of it. All right, once you select the green check, the only thing left to do is link what fits in the safe area and stitch away. So those are some of the great new features of the Cumatic 4.0. I have one more slide for you. The fastest way, right after this webinar, you can do this. You go to bernina.com, and in the search window, you select Cumatic Update, and it will take you directly to where you need to download that file and then follow the instructions. All right, I'm going to bring everybody back on set with me.
Okay, we're back. We're back and we're ready for your questions. So Emily has been monitoring the questions for us, and she's going to start out with a few questions you all have already asked.
Hello, everybody. So the first question is, when will the B790 Ultra simulator be available on Bernina.com?
It's coming very soon. So within a few days, no more than a couple weeks before it will be available. So it is really close to being ready.
Okay, the next question is another Ultra question. Will my jumbo hoop be fully usable on the Ultra?
So the jumbo hoop can still be used on the Ultra in the same way that it works on the other 7 series machines. So it works, there is about an inch or so, well, a couple inches that you cannot use, kind of has like a D shape that can be used within that hoop. And the jumbo hoop will work the same way. So the machine itself is not any physically bigger. So we haven't gained any physical space in the hoop, but that jumbo hoop will work.
Wonderful. The next question is for Julie about our lovely Liberty machines. Can you please repeat where you can find the quilt pattern on the website?
Oh, sure. Yes. Beautiful quilt, really easy to piece together. You just go to bernina.com and then go to the Learn and Create tab, which is on the upper right corner, and then go into the Sewing and Downloads, Sewing Patterns and Downloads. And then you should see both the 495 and the 580 quilts on that page.
Okay, the next question is for Sylvain. Can you talk about the app again? What the name is it, and is it free to download?
Yes, the app is called Stitch Direct, so in one word, and it's available on iOS. So if you have an iPhone or iPad, and it's available for Android. So you go to your app store, respective app store, and then when you type Stitch Direct, you'll see it right up. It has a Burnett logo icon on it, and then you download it. It's free. There's no payment at the beginning and no need to renew it. And the app, which is a nice touch, updates itself on the fly whenever there's a new version issued.
Wonderful. The next question is, when will the 50W walking foot be available for purchase?
Soon.
Tease.
We can say very soon. They've arrived here, so it just takes some time for them to get from here to your local dealer. But just check in with your local dealer. I know some of our dealers have even started taking pre-orders on it, so that's the best way to know you get it the first day. Check with your local dealer about putting your name on the list, so as soon as they come in, they're ready.
And we have to say, we're all sewing junkies, right? We all sew, quilt, embroidery, and all that. And when something is coming like this, we are drumming fingers waiting for it. So we know how you feel.
Yeah.
Okay, the next question is, for using the BQM format on the Ultra, is there a securing stitch at the beginning and the end of the design, and or what is your preferred method to make the stitch almost look invisible?
Yeah, so there is a securing stitch at the beginning and the end on the 790 Ultra with the BQM. And actually there's a new feature I didn't talk about, but you can actually control the number of stitches in that securing stitch. So you can increase or decrease how many stitches that it has for that securing at the beginning and the end.
And what's nicer than embroidery files like old-fashioned stitches, it doesn't do the back and forth that creates that little visible nubby, right? So it's really, they're hard to find once you've trimmed them.
Okay, so the next question is for Lane for Qmatic. I believe it's for Qmatic. Can you change the start point on the new E2E feature? I tried to unlink and then change the start point, but it would not go. Can you talk about the E2E start point?
Change the start point. I'm not sure if it's before or after you have made the design. You should be able to flip the start point with the reverse sew button on that.
Okay, the next question is, let me see here. Well, the next big question, Christy, is will the Ultra features be available for our 990 users at some point?
That's a great question, and we've had a lot of that. There are new features, of course, on the Ultra. So anytime Bernina comes out with a new machine, you can expect there will be new features. So there's always going to be some things, even though the 990 is still our top of the line, still has a lot of features that are not on the Ultra, like the camera, the scanner, the size. So lots of reasons to still choose a Bernina 990. There will eventually be a way for these new features on the Ultra to come to the 990, so be looking for that. But we can't share a timeline. We don't really have a timeline to share with you on when those features will be available, but you can expect to see new things on the 990 in the future.
Okay, the next question is about the Ultra. Which hoops come standard with the 790 Ultra?
So there are 3 hoops that are standard. There's the small hoop, which is the small free arm hoop that you can use for small projects. Then there is a medium hoop and the large oval hoop. It's compatible with the maxi hoop. So if you want to use the largest size that it works with, that would be the maxi hoop, or it also works with the large magnetic hoop if you want to use a large magnetic hoop.
Okay, we actually don't have any more questions.
Wow, I'm impressed. We just had all the answers. Okay, wonderful. Well, thank you all so much for joining us. Thank you guys for sharing the new product information. We hope that you'll either at your local dealer today and you'll get a demonstration or ask some questions about new products, or you will check in with your local dealer soon if you're watching from home. So thanks again. You can find more information about all of these products on Bernina.com.